The following program was pre-recorded on WFAN. It's time for Hello, My Name is Craig.
Before we get out of here today, I wanted to bring a friend of the show on, Ryan, who joined us last year regarding a company called Fish and his amazing app called Hey. And the reason I want to bring Ryan back is because September is Suicide Prevention Month, and unfortunately, gambling addicts have the highest rate of suicide amongst all addictions. And I think what Ryan's doing with his family and friends is really amazing. Ryan, good morning. How you doing today, pal?
Very good, Craig. Thanks for having me back on. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, so let's talk about Fish first. Tell everybody what it stands for, what the acronym is.
Sure. Fish stands for Faith, Integrity, Strength, and Honor, and it's really intended to bring awareness to people struggling with mental and emotional health and isolation issues, and all the clothes that we sell, all the proceeds go to support organizations that help foster and promote those benefits, and also to support the Hey app, which is really what we focus on to design.
And by the way, I can speak for a second because I have a bunch of the sweatshirts. They're badass hoodies, and also, the money all goes to this amazing cause that's important. You talked about the Hey app, which I have experienced as well, and it's an opportunity. It's kind of peer-to-peer help for people that might be feeling a certain way, and feel alone and by themselves, that there are resources out there to help people get through what might be a bad day, a bad night, etc. Before you walk through the Hey app, if you don't mind sharing why this initiative is so important to you and your family.
Sure. I lost my coach and mentor to suicide in 2010, Coach Brian Maynard Welsh. And then several years later, I lost a fraternity brother, and then 2 years ago lost one of my best friends. And we kind of felt that there was a need to try and do something to further awareness of the mental health issue and the stigma associated with discussing it. And clothing was just one way that we could do as a means to people could wear it and be ambassadors to promote that it's okay to talk about it. It's okay to keep going. It's okay to focus on, the things we need to accomplish to be positive in our lives. So that was really the inspiration, was to try and do something positive coming from the negative experiences that I personally had.
So the app is called Hey. It's got two Y's, so it's Heyy. You can download it on Android or iOS, and tell people what the app's purpose is, and if they do download it, what they'll find.
Sure. The biggest thing is that we've wanted to break down the barriers that prohibit people from reaching out to someone or anyone. And the app is absolutely free. There are no ads. There are no solicitations. And even better, it's anonymous. Nobody needs to know who the other person is. It's simply a mechanism to reach out. When you download the app, you simply input your first name. Don't even need to put your last name, your phone number, your email address. You create whatever username you want. And then if you're having a bad day or you're really struggling, you simply press the Hey button, and it automatically reaches out to compassionate individuals throughout the United States, and somebody will pick it up and respond. I've personally handled dozens and dozens of communications. My 13-year-old daughter has as well. My 17-year-old daughter has also been a compassionate listener for others that are out there, which is amazing that it goes that young.
Yeah. So ultimately, the purpose of it is, look, and I've been there, where you're contemplating not waking up in the morning. So I've lived this, right? And it's a sensitive issue to me. I don't like talking about it a lot, but I can't hide the fact that it is a part of my life story. That when I was out in Whistler, I've told this story a few times, not a lot, and I can't say I wanted to die, but I certainly was going to jump off a ski lift a couple 100 feet down to a mountain, and I know what the end result of that most likely would have been. So it's a sensitive issue for me, having had that experience and having talked to so many gamblers in recovery. And I know the app is not specific towards gamblers. It's towards people who just feel like there's no way out and are desperate to connect with someone that at times will just listen, whether it may not be all for advice, but it's a shoulder to cry on and someone to listen to. So I think it's a very valuable resource that people need to know about. But in the short amount of time the app has been available, has the app reached people that are in that position that I was in and help them live another day?
It absolutely has, and I'm happy to say that it's worked in that way. I personally have helped a couple people that were in a very bad situation. One in particular, I'll talk briefly about it. They were in West Virginia. They had lost their insurance about a year ago and had been diagnosed with some depression, and they just did not know what to do. And this was their last bastion of hope and reached out. And, I've followed up with that individual, and I'm happy to say that things have gotten more positive for that person. There was another individual who was isolated with COVID and was, in a desperate situation. And we've had a couple of situations where we've been able to get people over to hashtag 988 through the app to get the suicide prevention hotline specialists to help them. So it's been very successful.
And I can tell you, again, from life experience, if I didn't have my phone with me and I called a dear friend of mine who I actually recently reconnected with, and it was this really amazing emotional moment for me, a young man named Sherrod Williams, who is a dear, close personal friend and worked with me in radio in New Jersey. And when I was contemplating jumping off this, this chairlift out in Whistler, thank God he answered the phone. And he talked to me until I got to the place where my 2 feet were on the ground, and I didn't jump. And unfortunately, the way life circumstances, I didn't speak to him for almost 6 years after that moment. And we just recently reconnected. And it was a very, as you can imagine, emotional moment. But I can speak to the fact that one phone call, one conversation, one person on an app can absolutely save somebody's life. So it's called Hey with 2 Eyes, Heyy. You can download it in the App Store. You can also, if you want to, if I'm not mistaken, Ryan, you can sign up to be one of those people that's willing to listen, a compassionate listener, correct?
Absolutely. When you download the app, you simply just toggle a button that you want to be a listener and be someone that people can reach out to. It's right there, one little button.
I think what you're doing is great. I'm all in to help you guys out, as you know, any way I can. I think it's great that you're paying it forward and using, the tragedies that you've experienced in your life to help other families avoid those tragedies. And I hope everybody downloads the app. And if you have someone in your life that you recognize is feeling a certain way, either be there for them yourself or certainly, get them on the app so they can reach out to someone who can listen to them as well. And I'm glad you're doing it. I'm glad to be a part of it. And continued success, and thank you so much for joining us.
Can't thank you enough for everything you've done, Craig. Greatly appreciate it.
Of course. That's Ryan. The company's called Fish. Go check it out. And the app is called Hey, Heyy. Please download it. And again, suicide is real. We can't avoid the conversation. We need to have the conversation. And if this is one small step forward in making people more comfortable and willing to have the conversation, then job well done. Appreciate Ryan. Appreciate Robert. Pat Boyle producing today's show. Joe Beningo, I think, is coming up next. And we'll see you again next week right here on Hello, My Name is Craig.